Hello, everybody, and welcome to Alive to Thrive. I am Lauren Lyman.
And I am Tracy Schnabel.
And we want to welcome you and thank you for joining us. So this video is just going to be a quick overview of why we're here, where we came from, what got us here. So again, I'm Lauren. My education is in psychology. I was a psychology major at Dominican University in River Forest, Illinois. And I did a lot of research and statistics while I was there. I was actually really interested in it. And I did graduate with a high honor. My research and statistics professor actually nominated me for an Outstanding Senior in Psychology award. They award it to one person every year, and I did win that award. So yeah, that's my background in psychology. And then I went to Rush University. I moved on and got my master's degree in occupational therapy. And we did a little bit more research there, but honestly, it was unimpressive. I felt like I knew more than my teachers, and I ended up calling my professor from Dominican to help me with my research projects because the teachers were unable to help me. So that is definitely scary because Rush, I don't know if it's just occupational therapy or if it's other medical fields as well, but I mean, they teach doctors there, and if doctors don't know how to read research, that's scary to me. So
yes, it's very scary.
Yeah. What about you, Tracy? Where'd you come from?
Oh, okay. Outer space. No. I got my applied psychology degree from the University of Illinois at Chicago. Applied psychology includes an internship where you actually perform counseling. So I worked for a crisis hotline with people that were in crisis, including having suicidal ideation and counseling them for free from that hotline. And then I went on to go for my master's degree in occupational therapy at the University of Illinois at Chicago. It's one of the top 10 OT schools in the country with a very heavy base in research. So research is very important to demonstrate that what you're doing is effective. And it's also important for your providers to understand what the best treatment strategy is for your particular condition. And if you're unable to read research correctly, you could be giving your patients the wrong treatments unknowingly.
And by reading research correctly, what she means is not jumping to the discussion section or the abstract and saying, look at what they found. Yeah. No, you look at the participants. Is this an appropriate pool of participants in the study? You look at their methods. Are they doing this correctly? Is there bias? Is this a double-blind placebo study? Or is this just like let's get some people at this university together to do a study? Looking at the results, their data analysis, looking at all those objective sections that usually scare people and saying, I don't like the way that they did this. Oh, they skipped this. Why didn't they answer this question? Because a lot of research is biased. If you come up with a question and they didn't answer it in there, there's a reason for that. Why didn't they answer this question? Or, just because the research shows this doesn't mean that it would lead you to this conclusion, but they're making this conclusion because anyone who just goes and reads the discussion, they're going to say, hey, that's what they found out. Anyone who reads the entire article and analyzes it says, that conclusion doesn't make sense. I don't believe this.
So you have to be very critical and looking for a doctor and other providers that are going to be giving you the best treatments and understanding research. And we understand research and we're really critical and we are really truth seekers. So we want to share what we've learned because it's hours and hours of research. And I realize not everybody has that kind of time, but we wanted to offer people a station where they could go into and get the truth from. And then we're telling you all this about our background so that you understand we have both personal and professional experience in the healthcare field, and we could use our experience to help you navigate a very complicated and confusing healthcare system today, where it is.
Keep in mind, there is also research that shows when you are presented with information that conflicts with previous information that you believed in, your brain, your amygdala, which is the emotional part of your brain, responds automatically. So there will be information that we present to you that you probably don't agree with. Yeah. But just keep in mind, keep an open mind. Just keep in mind that we probably had your same views until we really dove into it. And it can be emotional, challenging your belief system. Yeah. But if you are open to it, you stay open-minded, and you know that we don't have an agenda here. We're literally just trying to help you. Yeah. Just be receptive of our information, and keep an open mind, and hey, research yourself. I hope you do, but be analytical in your research, and always research both sides. And Google is not your friend. Google is very biased. They only post certain things. Only certain things come up on the top. Certain websites no longer come up in Google searches. When you're searching via topic, you have to type in that specific website. We are being censored in this country, unfortunately. The United States is supposed to be a free country. We're being censored. So just be mindful of how you're researching, because there's bias everywhere, especially in the news, which we all know. So okay, so let's move on to our work experience.
Okay, so I worked initially for school with children that had severe autism. I worked as a pediatric occupational therapist, also with children that had severe behavioral disorders. I later went on to work for community home health, working with geriatric populations. And then lastly, I worked for a veterans hospital in the Chicagoland area. And I have particular interest, I realized, in disorders of consciousness. So people that have had traumatic brain injury, people that have had stroke, people that have had any, even, a lot of mental health concerns, any disorder that impacts the mind-body connection. And that's my interest, and that's kind of took me on the path to start researching different types of interventions and holistic treatment, because a lot of today's treatment does not include the mind-body. It's just looking at the body as a chemical system that can be treated through pharmaceutical intervention for everything. And it's totally discounting our mental health. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Okay, so I have a little bit of experience with, both personally and professionally, with mental health and drug addiction. So I did take up an interest in that. Mental health, as Tracy was saying, affects everything. It affects your physical health. It affects the way your brain functions. I don't know why we have this cognitive dissonance where we just don't see the connection. We want to take the body and say, okay, here are the physical parts of the body and the emotional stuff. The emotional stuff occurs within the physical part of the body. I mean, we acknowledge that there's serotonin, there's dopamine, there are things in the brain that are causing certain emotions, but we just have this misunderstanding of how it's affecting our health and how to treat it. So chemicals are not a replacement for fixing the underlying issue. So my biggest interest is in what is causing this. Why is your dopamine low? Why is your serotonin low? Let's not just give you more of it. Why isn't your body producing enough, and what can we do to get it to produce enough? You can ask that question for any medical problem. Your blood pressure. Why is your blood pressure high? Your body didn't just say I'm just going to have dangerously high blood pressure today. No, it's doing that for a reason. Your arteries are clogged. You eat a lot of junk food. Your arteries are clogged. Your blood pressure is high because, think of a straw. If you're breathing you're breathing normally. You don't need a lot of force. You're breathing through a straw. All of a sudden, you really have to inhale and exhale. You need more pressure to get all that oxygen through. Same with your blood. If your arteries are clogged, you're not going to get the oxygenated blood to all of your muscles and organs, especially your feet. So your blood pressure needs to elevate to save the feet. If you give yourself blood pressure medications, then what happens? Well, you don't get blood flow to the feet. You're gonna be cold, first of all, which is an inconvenience, but that's a symptom again of a bigger problem. Now you injure your foot. Now you don't have enough circulation going to your foot. Your wound doesn't heal correctly. You end up getting an infection. You don't go to the doctor, or your podiatrist just doesn't really help you out. And then you end up being septic, which is a total body infection. Now your life is in danger. All because you had high blood pressure, and instead of fixing the reason why your blood pressure was high, we said, here's some meds. It'll lower it for you. Problem solved. So working in a hospital, that's where I was working, same hospital as Tracy. That's how we met.
Yeah.
Noticed a lot of that going on. It's happening everywhere. This is our standard of care. Let's mask your symptoms. So Tracy and I are here to help you unmask your symptoms, figure out what's actually going on, and reclaim your health. Ask the critical questions. And if your doctor can't answer those questions, find a different doctor.
We're like healthcare detectives.
Yes, we are detectives.
And we're here to help you for free.
One thing we do want to disclaim is that everything we say here is for informational purposes only. So we are not a substitute for a doctor. We are not giving you medical advice. We are teaching you how to ask the right questions. We are teaching you how to think critically about your health, and we are here to empower you to make better health decisions moving forward. That being said, if you are having a medical problem or you have an emergency, obviously call 911. But if you're having a medical problem, learn from us a little bit of background about it. That's great. But don't substitute us for receiving treatment or a diagnosis. Don't self-diagnose. I know Google's everyone's favorite friend. Don't self-diagnose. Don't skip medical treatment because Lauren and Tracy or Google said this. Go see your doctor. But listen to us about what kind of questions you need to be asking and how to get to the underlying cause of your symptoms. A lot of times diagnoses are not diagnoses, they're symptoms, but we label them as a diagnosis. So what is the real diagnosis? That's what we're getting at. Yep. So that's a little bit about us. We are here to help you. We're very passionate about helping people, and that's why we're here. So we hope you enjoy our podcast. This is just a little introductory video. We are going to do a special stream of consciousness video. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically completely unscripted. We are going to sit here and just talk about issues. And wherever it takes us, it takes us. We're going to have a discussion. So you can kind of get to know us a little better because it's more natural. We're not presenting anything. So you can get to know us, get to know our communication style, where we're from, where we're headed, where we want to take you with us. And otherwise, there will be other videos that we will be posting. Each video, the name will be basically a snippet of what the video is about. So we hope that you can find a video that relates to you. We are doing videos on the medical system, healthcare, health and wellness, growth and development, and living a non-toxic lifestyle. So welcome. Thank you for being here, and we hope you enjoy our videos.